Hello, and welcome to the People Often Suck podcast, where we talk about the suckiest suck that currently sucks. I'm your host, Tom.
And I'm TC.
And at the end of our episodes, we're going to share uplifting stories that will bring hope back into your heart. But for now, let's start off with our first story.
Well, this is going to be a very special episode because this is our 10th one of our first season. And we are very excited because we have a very special guest with us today that's going to join us. He is, he's not only our producer who's been guiding us along the way on all of this podcasting work, but he also has a very distinguished career in the Los Angeles area, who's been on the radio for more than 30 years. He was part of the very famous Mark and Kim show on Coast FM, and then went on to do variations of the Mark show on Coast, and even has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, right, Mark?
And we celebrated with you back in 2006.
Yes, that's right.
When
I was
it happened.
there.
I could show you stuff that you gave me while you were with the Walt Disney Company there.
Yeah.
I've got a beautiful statue of Walt and Mickey.
That's right.
At the Steamboat Willie wheel.
Yep, absolutely. And who else was there for the Walk of Fame star reveal?
My partner, Kim Amadon, and
Barry
Manilow. Yes, Barry Manilow inducted us along with Gary Marshall, the
Yes, that's
late,
right. Gary Marshall was
film
there.
director and legend.
Yeah, which Stella and I ended up having lunch with him later on at the Smokehouse.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I love
thing. And then when we took him back to his office, who was waiting in his office but Joe... of the brothers. Blinky
Joe Jonas?
Yes, Joe Jonas was
Joe
waiting in
Jonas
his office.
yeah.
And we're like, he goes, "Do you want to meet him?" And Stella and I were like, "That's okay. I mean,
right.
We don't need to meet him now at this point, but it was great having lunch with you."
Yeah. Gary was always very interested in working with younger people. And because Hollywood is such a town full of ageism, like nobody's business.
Without a doubt.
And, no matter the millions and millions and hundreds of millions of dollars that guy made for everybody else, it was always that thing in Hollywood where it goes, well, okay, you did that, but what do you got for me next?
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So,
well, and the Marshalls, his sister, Penny Marshall, I mean, both of them so ingrained in Hollywood. And for a lot of people out there who will know exactly who we're talking about, watch Hocus Pocus because Gary Marshall played the Satan, dressed up as Satan for Halloween, and his sister played his wife, the nagging wife, in that movie. So
that's why they went to hell, brother and sister married.
But Penny Marshall, of course, in one of my favorite TV shows, which was also a Gary Marshall show, was Laverne and Shirley.
Right.
We're talking as if I'm not sure if Tom, you even know who Gary Marshall is. Although now I just told you Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, no, I have no references for any of these.
You'd say the movie Pretty Woman, Richard Gere, Julia Roberts.
He directed it.
I know that's a movie that exists.
You'd say Princess Diaries, the first breakout film for
directed that
Anne
one.
Hathaway.
Also exists.
A League of Their Own. So, Gary Marshall's done a lot. And his sister, Penny, she also directed a number of things as well. So,
could we get them in the studio?
It'd be a little hard.
At all.
A little hard.
Both of them have left us.
Oh,
yes. They've moved on to other pastures. So,
I mean,
the great
that shouldn't hold us back.
Yes. But
just get a Ouija board.
Ouija board. No, that's bad. That's evil.
Let's get a Ouija board. Gary.
But since this is our 10th, I don't want to keep wanting to say in my head 10th anniversary, but we have a ways to go to hit the 10th anniversary.
Yeah.
Our 10th episode of season 1 of POS, People Often Suck. And we are so grateful for Mark. So we decided that we would do something different, and we're going to have him join us on our POS stories and then the happy story at the end, so you can certainly partake.
And I will tell you, the only reason I'm here for these wonderful lemon drop martinis, which...
that was the next part I was going to mention, is that you brought
a legendary...
the famous Mark lemon drop martini.
Yes. And I
we need to add master mixologist to the moniker.
I don't know about that. It's just two ingredients. But look at Tom. He's
Tom
already
is ahead of us.
Like way ahead of us. I like that.
Let me take some sips here.
It's a liquid breakfast.
Well, it's a liquid anytime you decide. But
wow, that's good.
As
always.
And So I do just fresh squeezed lemons, and it's 50% vodka, 50% lemon juice. No simple syrup. I don't want to sweeten it
Nope.
because I use a sugar rim.
And that sugar rim is good.
So it still retains a tartness, which
Yep.
if you add a simple syrup to, it would take it away. Yeah, it'll be too sweet. So this is kind of good. And by the way, it gets you where you want to go pretty fast.
Well, we'll see how that goes in the course of this episode.
You'll definitely want to be around for the next 15 minutes.
So maybe rename this a Mark's Hard Lemonade.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh, I like the hard lemonade. So I am very, very excited about being here for these stories that you've been doing, and you're finding some
you are
wonderful little.
You're listening in post, which is interesting because then you're hearing these stories for the first time, and in some of them, stories that actually we've forgotten that have happened in the past. You know,
Right.
There was one in episode 9 where he brought up about the Leduc players
Right,
and that whole
right.
situation.
Yeah, that got-
and there was an update apparently, so that was interesting. But I'm going to jump in. I have the first POS on this one, so I don't know if you're ready for it.
I'm waiting.
You're
sitting?
waiting. Should we do a refill real quick before we jump into this one?
Oh, yes.
I mean, you're
Well, I
out.
know Tom needs one for God's sake.
Tom
He's
definitely
lost
needs
everything.
one.
You're still.
I'm
Well.
working on it quick.
All right.
yeah, it's your
Well-
fault you made these too good.
I'm the bartender, so I'll wander around and. Ah, yes. Little ice. The ice is melting. It's a good thing to water these down just a little
Thank you,
bit.
sir.
See, I cleared the glass for you.
I'm so parched.
All right.
Okay, we're going to get to our first POS story. And I tried to make sure it was a doozy. So, our first venture into the world of POS is a throwback to 2006. It's interesting. One of our recent episodes, we also did a 2006 story as well, which was the Leduc Cross story. This also happened in 2006 as well. Not sure if you ever remember hearing the story of a young girl, 16-year-old, named Cassie Jo Stoddard. Ringing a bell at all?
The Stoddard name rings a bell. There's a celebrity Stoddard, but I'm not. That's Courtney, I think. I'm not sure
so
about
this is
Stoddard.
not that one.
Well, just having the name gets
Right.
you in its. Right, there you go.
So this one happened in Bannock County in Idaho. Okay,
Bannock County. Yeah.
Bannock.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
Yes.
We are really bad with names, by the way. So
just in case you're not familiar with southeastern Idaho, that would be the Pocatello, Blackfoot, Idaho Falls region. Go ahead.
So Bannock County, Idaho.
That would be a 1B license plate there.
1B, yes. Thank you. So as the story goes, this is a scene right out of the movie Scream. In fact, the movie Scream was part of the inspiration behind this, sadly. So Cassie was staying house sitting for her aunt and uncle. They have pets. So she was sitting for them to take care of them while aunt and uncle were away, and had invited her boyfriend over. Her boyfriend is, why am I blanking on his name? It was
Steve,
here.
Ryan, Kevin.
No, I don't know why I have the two names of the others that I don't want to mention just yet, but anyways, Matt, her boyfriend's Matt. I think the drink is already getting to me.
Well, there you go.
You've had 2
I'm doing my
sips.
job, aren't I?
I have not had 2 sips. I've had more than 2 sips. I've had 1 full glass, and I'm now working on the second. Kind of competing with you.
Oh, that's a competition, is it?
Apparently. So anyways, so she invited Matt to come over and before Netflix, watch TV. So probably had HBO back in the day, if you remember back then.
What was the Netflix and chill?
Well, that's a little bit later
Yeah,
on.
baby.
2006, that was before Netflix
Oh,
and
okay,
chill.
got it. This
So-
is pre-Netflix and chill.
Let's believe that Cassie was being a good little girl and just invited Matt
Okay.
over to watch, have some popcorn, watch a movie on HBO or whatever. Unbeknownst to her, though, Matt invited 2 of his friends over, Tori Admick and Brian Draper.
So another couple.
Well, no, they're boys.
Oh, Tori's a boy. Okay.
Yeah. So they were all over there and watching movies and whatnot for about 2 hours or so. And the boys, Tori and Brian, were like, we're going to take off. We're going to go to a party or whatever their plans were. So they left. Before they left, that one of the boys went down to the basement and unlocked the basement door.
Okay.
So then
that
they left.
they could potentially
So then they left.
come back.
So they theoretically left. Matt and Cassie were at home or at her aunt and uncle's. And short time later, they returned by going in by way of the basement. Their intention was to scare them. However,
just for a good old laugh.
initially. So they made noises downstairs and whatnot. And for the most part, Matt and Cassie just ignored them. At one time in the evening, the dog was literally at the top of the stairs looking down to the basement and was growling and barking and whatnot. But they just pretty much brushed it off. Then
Netflix
one of the
and
boys,
chill will do that to you. Because why in the world would anybody, if you're hearing noises in the house and you're the only people there, isn't that raise any kind of alarm?
I know that for me, I'd already be out of that damn house as quickly as possible.
Exactly.
So then one of the boys finds the breaker box downstairs and shuts the power off.
Oh, see, that's when I go for the shotgun.
Remember, they're 16.
Yeah.
Although this is in
It's
Idaho, so I
Idaho.
guess that could have happened. But
They're 60?
16.
Oh,
16.
16. Yeah. No, I get it.
Okay.
Because they
So-
teach you how to shoot a gun at about 8 there in
Exactly.
Idaho.
So Matt calls his mom. You know, they're a little unnerved by this whole thing. So Matt calls his mom like, hey, Mom, the electricity went on over here, blah, blah, blah. Do you mind if I just stay the night over here so I can protect Cassie? We're just a little scared. And of course, Mom like, what? I don't want to have a child, with, a grandchild come out of
I was going to say. Yes, you stay there and protect her. In fact, I'd get as close to her as you can.
Exactly. So, of course, Mom naturally said no. But if you're that concerned, why don't you have Cassie come over to our house and stay there? Cassie, being the responsible niece, said, oh, no, I can't. I need to be here for the pets. Like, why didn't you just frickin' take the pets with you then? And not only that, but why did you not, like Cassie, why didn't you call Mom and Dad and say, the power went out over here. Could you come over here and help me? Did the power go out in your area? Because she wasn't far from home.
Well, yeah, the first thing I do when the power goes out is I look outside.
Absolutely.
Yes. Like, is it just us?
Yeah.
Because if it's just us, I'd be a little concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, Cassie did the responsible thing and stayed there. So it was time for Mom to come pick up Matt. Picked up Matt and left. The power, by the way, at some point came back on. Okay, they must turn the power back on. So they continued to try to make noises downstairs because they were trying to actually tempt her to come downstairs. But she didn't go downstairs. In fact, at one point, she literally fell asleep on the couch while they're trying to make noises and get her to come downstairs and scare her and all that stuff.
Does anybody
I know.
think that any of this so far is normal as to what you would do if you were in a house now alone with noises happening?
Exactly.
And you decide to stay there and ignore them.
Right. Ignore them. The dog is basically telling you at the top of the stairs, there's something freaky going on downstairs. But, again, they're kids per se, and they don't have the age and wisdom, I guess, maybe perhaps as older people to think something's not right here.
Well, they clearly have not seen enough scary movies.
Scream had come out, around that time frame. How did you not pay attention that Scream was about killing your friends? If you remember rightly, the
Of
movie,
course.
right?
All 6 of them.
So these two boys downstairs were trying to scare her, get her to come downstairs to investigate. They ended up actually shutting the power off yet again. Did she do anything? No, she didn't. She fell asleep on the couch, which is really quite interesting.
How come half of me is hoping something bad happens to her now?
Like she deserves it?
Well,
now I'm the POS.
Well, I kind of, yeah. If you actually look at it that way, that is
It's
kind
like,
of
seriously. At some point, you kind of go, well, listen, I just can't help you anymore.
So yes, I would say that you are kind of a little bit of a POS if that's what you're wishing,
Well,
because your wish
I'm not
did
being-
come true.
Oh, no.
Yes, it did, sadly.
Now I'm sad because I was a parent of a 16-year-old, and I'd hate to have that happen.
So around 10:30 p.m., as I said, Matt left. Okay, she's now alone. They're trying to taunt and tease her and scare her and all that stuff. And she didn't come downstairs, so they decided to go upstairs. One of them had in hand a dagger-style weapon, and the other one had in hand a hunting type of knife. They found her asleep on the couch and stabbed her approximately 30 times, 12 of which were fatal wounds.
What? How did that escalate so fast?
Well, I mean, I don't even know how to respond, and just in the sense of, were they that angry that she never went down to find out what was going on, that they said, we're now getting angry and you've made us stay down there for hours and hours and hours? Or was that their whole motivation or intent the original time?
So as the story goes, these two little POS assholes
Whoa.
had a kill list.
They had a kill list.
And Cassie was the first one on the list.
Whoa.
So they had every intent to do this.
Did they ever, well, I don't know, it's more of an epilogue, but just what did these names on the kill list represent to these kids?
Nothing in particular. So there's a video, and I sadly, when I was doing research on this, they have the video embedded in this particular story. It's a video of them talking in the car about on their way to go kill Cassie. In fact, one of the boys said that he even got kind of aroused by the whole idea. And then the video continues after they did the killing about them killing Cassie and what it was like to kill her in this lifeless body in front of them. So they had this premeditated aspect to their whole thing of what they wanted to do. And of course, Matt, unknowingly to him, invited his friends to join them for this pre-Netflix and chill.
Right.
And then, of course, they left early because that was where they were going to get prepared for what they were about to do. And I don't know if Matt had stayed, if he would have been a victim as well.
I just still don't understand why, and maybe Matt's been asked the question and has responded to this. I don't know if you have any information on it, but just why did they continually ignore all the noise that was down in the basement when the lights went off and, looking around to seeing if, just why did they never
That's a good question.
concern themselves about it?
I know for me, growing up, I've always been a little, I think because
I won't open the closet after the sun goes down.
Well, I've seen too many of those Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street and blah, 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 Halloween, all of those movies that it freaked me out enough that as a teenager at home, my parents were real estate agents, so they were constantly gone late into the evening because of deals that they were trying to cut and whatnot. If my brother wasn't there, I'm home alone. We had freaking bars on our windows. I should have been fine, but I could still look down the hall going, but I still know somebody can slip through those bars and they're down at the end of the hall waiting for me, and I was always get freaked out about it. And I know that if I was in that particular, and it could be just there was a certain level of feeling safe and secure in their little town or whatever it is that they just didn't. Cassie and Matt didn't think twice about the fact that their electricity went out or they're hearing noises downstairs in the basement or whatever. But really,
a young girl lost her life because of this, and I mean
in a very horrific way.
A horrific way.
Yeah.
And I hope, knowing Idaho, I think they're a death penalty state, but if these kids were over 16, they could very well be charged as adults. And you really do hope that they would never be able to be set free from whatever happened to them.
Well, so the next day, Tori and Brian meet up with Matt, and Matt's been trying to, get a hold of Cassie, and she's not, answering. And it wasn't until finally they discovered the horrific scene of what had happened over at Cassie's aunt and uncle's house that the police then obviously started immediately who all basically saw Cassie last? Well, Matt, Brian, Tori. So Matt, easy alibi. He was with his mom. He was back home. And his mom saw Cassie alive, so obviously that pretty much cleared him. In questioning Tori and Brian, they first admitted that, we went to a party, yet there was nothing that they could prove that with. Then it was, we went to a movie. So when they were asked about which movie, what was it about, they couldn't really remember a thing. Like
they both went to different movies.
Yeah.
They both went. So eventually, Brian was the first one to come
cracked.
clean. And he actually took law enforcement to where all of the evidence was stashed, which was in the Black Rock Canyon area, and then shared the damning videotape, which again, if you look for this story, you can find the videotape. It's on YouTube of their actual comments. It's only like a minute and a half. It's not very long, but it's very damning and disturbing to actually see these two kids openly and excitedly talk about they know who their first victim is and what they're going to do to that person.
Do they ever say why?
They never do. They just talked about the fact that the inspiration for them was, and I already mentioned it, the movie Scream, as well as they wanted, actually, I do know why. They wanted to be famously known as notorious serial killers. So things like the Hillside Strangler, the Zodiac Killer, and Ted Bundy were inspirations to them. Like, those were your inspirations?
Well, they've all got, something in common, which is they're basically very stupid, and they basically will always, eventually, these guys right away, but get caught. You never get away with it. And then, so
You don't.
in order for you to be infamously famous, you have to die, right? Because or you're going to go somewhere where you can never take advantage of it, unless a pen pal in prison who falls in love with you, and of course, there's nothing weird about that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what are you really getting? What is the infamy that is so desirable here?
Right. It's a false hope, a narrative of what you think that you might get out of doing all of this. I mean, here's the deal. They thought that they would be notoriously famous for this. I don't really know anything about them until I actually investigated. So it's not like they became famous about it. They had 5 minutes of fame back then when the story probably hit national. And then after that,
you get your 15 minutes is what you're saying.
and then you're gone. So both of them, going back to your point earlier, yes, they were tried as adults, and both were sentenced to prison without the possibility of parole, plus 30 years of life for a conspiracy behind the brutal slaying.
Yeah, because that's first degree. That's the videotape establishes a plot. So first degree murder can happen instantaneously. Say, I'm going to kill you in a second, and it's first degree murder. And as long as they can never come out, I'm satisfied with the outcome.
They are attempting to try to appeal their convictions, but I'm hoping that the video is so damning. It really is. I mean, honestly, if you take some time to go look them up and find that video, which shouldn't be too difficult, it's very damning. You cannot get around it at all. But unfortunately, this poor young lady is no longer with us. She did nothing wrong. She was an innocent young girl. And
the only thing she did wrong was just ignore stuff that was happening that would have concerned any normal person.
Yes. Innocent mistakes then.
Right. And listen, honestly, you could look at it and saying, let's say she did go downstairs. They were going to attack her right there when she went downstairs.
Exactly.
I mean, if they had
their
a
intent
plan
was to
on
kill.
that.
So
of course.
Either she was going to get stabbed
Down
downstairs or it happened upstairs. How do you feel about it, Tom? I mean, you finished your drink.
Honestly, these stories make me want to drink.
Well, I didn't try to pick like a really bad story just for the sake of it. I wanted.
How's that for a season finale? Holy good. Oh, I'm not going outside for the next several days. All right.
Tom's going to give us a doozy of a story, I hope.
All right, Tom, top that for heaven's sakes. Ugh.
Okay, well,
we have our we have our drinks in hand,
Yes.
filled up here, so hopefully it'll loosen us up in time for this wonderful story.
Yep. Clink it and drink it.
Oh, as you sip right on the mic. That's great. Give the sound effect.
ASMR.
I think they're getting more tart as we go.
Well, the sugar's out. Like, I used up all my
Wow,
sugar.
you really ate the sugar all around your rim.
Well, that's what you do. You
I'm
work your
just
way
only-
around.
I guess I need to do that better. You've done that as well, Mark. I
I
noticed.
do. I'll work my way around because I do like the combo of the little bit of
Yeah.
without the simple syrup in the cocktail
I know.
itself.
You,
I
you
need that
know,
sweetness.
no one makes a lemon drop better than you, Mark. There's
Well,
no doubt about it.
I apparently have done some damage with these things.
Yes,
over
you have. Maybe sometime we'll share the story. Anyways,
Well, I heard the story.
you did hear the story on the way
last
home.
time,
Yes,
yeah.
that's
That
right.
was a
I told
doozy.
them the Magic Castle story.
Oh yeah, it involved the Magic Castle, a limousine, and 6 people with 2 gallons of beverage to kill in traffic on their way to the Magic Castle.
And ironically, Mark wasn't there,
I
but
wasn't.
he was the one who gifted us.
I
and,
did prepare it.
all
Limo
part of the
driver
plan.
came over, picked everything up, and
Yep.
then I think you were asked to leave the Magic Castle.
No,
right?
we weren't asked to leave.
Oh,
To
okay.
clear that up, we were not asked to leave. Just when we sat down at the table, now we're going to air this part, and the server said, "Welcome to the Magic Castle. My manager has asked me to tell you guys that we will not be able to serve you any drinks right now, but we are more than happy to take your food order."
How nice. That just meant that you guys were smiling and laughing on this. You
Exactly.
weren't being obnoxious,
Yeah.
which was very good. I will say that
I blame
part of this
Stella for
story
most of
ends
it.
up with one passed out on a wood bench in front of the
That
Magic
was
Castle.
that was Robin.
That was Robin.
In Stella's lab.
There you go. And then there was in the limo too. There was I have to lay down and thank God you had a limo.
Yes, if we weren't driven. Oh, by the way, just to make it clear, not a single one of us actually enjoyed the meal at the Magic Castle that night. It was left in their warming ovens for us to take home, which we never grabbed, and we ended up having Tommy burgers as our dinner that night.
And that's because they left 15 minutes after getting there.
No, we made it through one magic show. We made it one magic show.
All right.
Okay, Tom. Sorry.
Oh, memory lane.
Oh, memory lane. Yes. Okay.
So, okay. I know.
How do you start on this now at this
yeah.
point?
Okay, so I know I'm the youngest.
Bring us down, Tom.
Yeah.
Bring us down.
Well, I'm the youngest guy in the room, but are you
Only by a few years.
are you both aware of what a IRL streamer is?
An IRL.
Mhm.
I know what a URL, but an IRL streamer is what?
In real life. So basically, you
You're
are
streaming real life.
you're
Okay.
streaming in real time whatever you're doing.
I understand.
Things like Twitch, you're streaming video game playing or other things. So this story is about an IRL streamer. And talk about a POS. This is an ongoing story. It has gone international. So,
I'm afraid to ask what he was streaming.
I don't know that we want to know.
Nothing necessarily graphic.
I mean, in real life, okay.
Yeah,
Okay. But now we know what IRL is.
There's so many acronyms to keep up with.
I know. Yeah, tell me about it.
IDK.
So, so 24-year-old Ramsey Khalid Ishmael. Profile name is Johnny Somali,
Johnny Somali.
even though he's not Somalian.
Okay.
Yes, he's actually from Arizona.
Oh.
He's a sommelier. No,
Yeah.
what is it?
Somali.
Well, there's good money in that.
He's a beverage expert.
He's a desert rat from Arizona.
So he is known for his provocative and hostile behavior overseas.
So he's not known in this country.
Not so
and
much.
You could be broadcasting and somebody who's in a country where there's no offensive stuff allowed, this guy becomes popular because he's so offensive.
You got it.
Mark, you're so in with the times. Wow.
I didn't know
So
what an
impressed.
IRL was.
Yeah. So he's smart enough not to pull these antics here in the States because, well, guns. But
Well, Arizona, definitely
Yeah.
guns, yes.
but he is dumb enough to do this overseas where, well, the laws are a little bit different over there.
Sure, yeah.
So
You lose a hand.
I don't. Maybe not necessarily Europe, but
No, he's been basically trolling in the Asian provinces.
oh, you do not mess with Asia.
Singapore,
No.
they just whip you. In Malaysia, they dehead you.
Yeah.
And you need that.
Well, I don't know that I need that, but why are you looking at me when you said
Well, no,
that?
you need your head.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
you do need
yes.
that.
I do need
yeah.
my head. Yes. Okay.
So he's become popular in Asia.
For all the wrong reasons.
Okay, and they're starting to kind of catch up with him as far as
But
Oh,
wouldn't they? But is-
internet monitoring.
But
so
but
to
in
speak?
Asia, aren't they so like prim and proper as far as following the rules that wouldn't they be turned off by this type of thing?
Well, so that's just it. It's not that he's popular for the right reasons. No. He's going to these countries that have such a high tolerance of politeness, almost like a Canada times 10.
He's taking advantage of that.
yes.
So wait a minute. If I am interpreting this right, this guy will travel to those countries to be rude
Yes.
in their society.
He's taking advantage
Yes.
of their polite society.
That's risky,
Yes,
You
right?
think? Yeah.
because I'm now kind of rooting for the fact that I hope he gets the. Sorry, I was about to say it. The poop like whipped out of him.
Well, you look at certain countries in that part of the world. Singapore, if you chewed gum at one point, you remember
Yes.
the famous story of somebody
the
getting
bambooing or
caned?
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
the
cane you
caning,
for,
yeah.
know.
And not sugar cane. It's like a caning.
So, Tom, I'm curious, what kind of things would he go do and insult?
I've got examples. So,
We're gonna make it hard for Tom to get through the story.
just so we're all familiar, IRL streaming, there's a lot of platforms.
In real life.
There's YouTube, there's
Yep.
Twitch, and then there's Kick.
Well, and I mean, Facebook Live, Instagram Live.
Yeah, he's
All of that
basically been
stuff.
banned from all of
TikTok.
them.
Oh,
Oh.
yes. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, because he's an a-hole.
Exactly. Depending on which platform you're on, there are levels of tolerances that these platforms will put up
Right.
with. He's managed to demolish every single one of them.
As far as his ability to be able to stream on those.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean,
Sounds like
you
that
get
one
kicked off
guy-
of one, you just go to the next one, see
Right.
what I
That's
can
what
Well, it
he
find.
sounds
wanted.
like, I don't
And
know if
then-
you guys have ever heard of Jack Doherty. He was literally on his, we'll get back to your story in a moment, sorry. He was
I'll just
literally
sit in the
on
corner and
his
drink.
phone while he's driving this like Lamborghini or whatever in Florida. It was raining and all that.
McLaren.
Oh, it was a McLaren car,
Yeah.
Yes.
which is a 6-digit figure car.
Yes.
Yes.
Can be 7.
So he's literally his passenger friend or whatever is videotaping him. So the evidence is there that he was on his phone and he
In the rain.
He ends up crashing. I mean, his friend is kind of like messed up over there, and I hope his friend woke up and like, you're an a-hole, Jack. I don't want you in my life anymore because you almost killed me.
All right.
POS.
And let me just say this about people like you that watch him.
No, I don't. I just
You're
he
as
happens to.
douchey as
No,
he is.
I just happened to come
Oh,
across.
I just happened to look at every episode. All right, TC.
I'm almost out of my drink.
You look so thirsty.
This
I know, I
This is a guy who's looking to shock the public and
Yes.
get the views. What kind of things was he doing?
So basically, this guy is such a douche. Okay. The majority of his viewers, they watch him because they want something bad to happen to him. They want somebody to,
So to actually finally give him his due justice.
yes, that's what people are hoping will happen to him.
This is you and me watching a car chase on TV.
Exactly. Why is it a sporting event in LA for people to watch car chases? Because we're waiting to see the perpetrator get his due
You know what it
comings
is?
from LAPD.
It's always dark versus light. It's what it is.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
always dark versus light. You can figure out what the dark, what the light, and this is exactly what those people are going.
Mark,
I
can
don't
you-
like this guy.
Can you feel? We're almost.
You know what? I hate to tell you that is like a 128 ounce shaker right there, and it's finished.
Oh, it's down.
It's out.
What?
Oh.
And let me just tell you what you're going to be like in about 10 minutes from now, because I saw how fast you did those. This is going to be. But you know what I'm saying? Here's a guy who's making money and not sitting in jail and offending and doing all the things against society.
And that's the sad part of social media and that whole world is that he actually is making money by doing really crappy things just to simply get views.
All right. So what kind of crappy things?
Well, aside from being banned from basically every platform you can come up with, he has been arrested or detained in Japan. That was in 2003. Israel in 2024. And now South Korea. And as of November of 2024, he is currently under a travel ban preventing him from leaving South Korea.
So he's trapped.
Well, here is a list of all his accomplishments thus far. And this is even all of them, actually. Like, there are so many. I just kind of had to highlight him.
These are the ones that Tom liked the best.
Yes, these are the
Tom's
best.
And if Tom was
the
going
best.
IRL, here's the inspiration.
Tom's favorite picks. Let's
So,
go.
while in Japan,
Yes.
he made anti-Japanese taunts towards locals, including comments about the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Probably not smart moves. That's
nope.
really dumb.
He went to Tokyo Disney and blasted music with lyrics containing the phrase atomic bomb.
Oh my gosh, what an idiot.
He went to a construction site with a mask on, yelling Fukushima at the workers. He disrupted a restaurant by playing extremely loud music. At one point, the
Mark, you're just your face.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that all of that's covered under the First Amendment right here in the United States.
Yes.
It is in poor taste, and it is simply there to shock. But, would that be like going to Germany and just screaming, I'm so happy to be here in the land of Nazis?
It's just very poor taste.
It's poor taste, but
and
to me,
it's a bad representation of our country.
At one point, he was being threatened by the Yakuza,
What is that?
the Japanese mafia.
Oh, don't mess with the Japanese mafia.
Well, the mafia in any country you shouldn't really mess with.
Yeah,
I
but
Probably
but
not.
I don't like knives and swords.
yeah.
This prompted him to leave Japan, basically.
Wow.
Well, I wonder why.
Well,
Yeah,
the
right.
mob would get you out. The government, what can they
So
do?
He
Yeah.
made his way to Israel.
What did he do in Israel?
So he became involved in a lot of altercations with the local Arab and Jewish people.
I mean, it's already a hotbed of like. Why do you want
tensions
to
are
be
high.
why do you want to be the little like? Oh, Lucy's
back?
back. Oh,
I think she wants in.
our next story is going to be about a cat, so that's kind of appropriate. But
Oh.
anyways, go ahead.
It's a good story. I
Yes,
hope.
it's a good story.
Okay. So he filmed himself attaching pictures of Harvey Weinstein, Aiden Ross, and Jeffrey Epstein to the Western Wall in Jerusalem, proclaiming Weinstein as one of the top Jews.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I think it's Weinstein, by the way.
Weinstein?
Yeah, Weinstein is a Hollywood
lemon drops
piece of. He's a POS.
Really working.
Here I'm thinking I get why this guy is a POS. I really do. But this is a guy who is really
Well, he's the fall guy for a lot of what Hollywood already normally does.
No, but I mean, as far as what this guy's doing traveling around the country, he's
this guy,
not
yes.
very creative. I mean, it's like a comedian that just tells a joke that you've heard a million times, right?
He's taking the easy way out.
Look, if I wanted to really shock people like this guy's doing, I would think of other things because I'd just look at him and going, "Oh, really? That's all you could say about Japan? Is that it? Is that
Yeah.
all you could say
He's
about
not smart at all.
South Korea or Israel? Really? That's what you came up with?" Oof. But still, this guy has gotten the attention where it has become such a huge story.
But I have a feeling he got kicked out of Israel.
Well, not so much kicked out, but pretty much fled for his life.
Yet again. So here in Japan, he had to get the heck out of there before the Japanese mafia.
The mafia. They were being too polite. In Israel? No, seriously, I need to get out. They're going to kill me.
Well, either the Arabs are going to kill him or the Jews are going to kill him. I mean, one or the other.
Well, he did sexually harass a female police officer,
Oh, my
Oh, a
gosh.
police officer.
and he was jumped at one point.
I hope he got his butt kicked.
Yeah, he's gotten his butt kicked pretty much in every country he's been in.
I hope so.
That is not a deterrent for him. Like, what will prevent you from being this idiotic? So far, nothing. The threat of jail, the threat of being beaten down, nothing's deterred this guy.
That's because he has not offended enough or in the right way. I'm just hoping that the story ends with he really
Right,
then
he's doing
goes too
shock
far.
value.
Okay, it's just shock value. That's it.
Yes.
And poorly creative
correct.
shock value.
100%. There's nothing of talent or creativity
Nope.
or even justification
No.
that actually gives him any sort of
But here's the
foundation.
good news for him. Fortunately, there are enough people out there with little phones and screens that they can look at, that they can find this and be offended and support him monetarily, which is exactly how he's able to cross the country. So,
Yeah.
when is it that he goes too far?
Well, so he's now in South Korea.
Okay.
So what did he do there?
Oh,
Like, does it get worse?
it somehow does.
Wow. He hasn't learned.
Now he finally gets creative.
Yeah,
But
he
this is
hasn't
what-
learned about the Japanese mafia going after him. He hasn't learned about, obviously
The division
either
in
the
the
Israelites or
Middle East.
Israelites, but the Israelis.
But this is
or,
what happens with this kind of content: is you have to keep constantly
you
raising
gotta
the
go
bar.
more,
You
right.
do.
Yeah.
You're
'Cause
absolutely
eventually
right.
people get
But at
stale
what
and turned
point
off. and
is
like,
too
whatever.
much? Too much,
It no longer shocks.
right?
Yes.
Where do I need to go from here?
So he started off his trip to South Korea by threatening to slap a BTS member on Twitter,
So we're talking about the boys, right? The boy bands.
the boy band.
But how would he get ever any close to any of them?
Well, he wouldn't, obviously.
Okay.
It's Twitter. He kissed and performed lap dances on the statues of peace, which you may not be familiar with.
Not really.
But these are actually very sacred over in South Korea. These are memorials which commemorate young comfort women.
Oh, my God, the young comfort women kidnapped by the Japanese during World War II
Oh,
and
really?
made to serve as Japanese soldiers.
oh my
It was,
gosh.
oh, no.
Why
it was,
would he do
it
that?
was a horrible, horrible
yes,
thing.
Why would he do that?
That I think Japan finally apologized for, but they still have not really reconciled the tension
Right.
in that area of the world when it comes to that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
my
That
gosh.
is
Yeah.
insane.
I hope they keep him in South Korea forever because I don't want him back here.
So you can maybe appreciate why the Koreans would be mad about this.
Yes,
boy.
no
Especially when he
kidding.
breaks out the baby oil
Oh God.
and ditties himself
oh,
around these
Oh.
statues. And then he claimed like, "Oh, I didn't know."
Oh no, he knew. He knew.
He knew. That's why you picked those statues in particular.
I really want to cuss right now because
And he
this
just
makes me
happened to be
angry.
with Carrie Lake, who was his comfort woman.
We're not getting political, Mark.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Let's see what's next. Oh, he loudly. This is his signature. Apparently, is he loudly played music, North Korean music. They're a little touchy about North Korea in South Korea.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah, can't imagine. It's not like there was a whole war or anything. Yeah, this was actually the biggest offense over there.
I don't know how you can certainly top any of the stuff you've shared so far.
So offensive to us, not so much. Over there, it's actually a big deal. He created a deep fake video using AI of him making out with a Korean content creator. Super illegal over there.
Oh, interesting. Illegal.
Super illegal. Like the whole deep fake thing, they're basically the pioneers of making laws involving deep fakes and AIs.
Have you seen the one of Biden and Trump kind of dancing and
Yes, I have
celebrating,
actually
right?
seen that.
I mean,
I've actually seen that.
and
It's actually kind of funny.
It is funny, and I can tell that it's AI.
Yeah.
It's semi-creative, but it does tell you that if it gets better and better to the point where they say
You
you're
can't
not
tell
going to
the
be able to
difference.
tell, that's going to be a
Right.
real problem. But I'm glad to hear that South Korea is passing laws like that. All right, so now he's done the deep fake, and that's I
That was
hope is the straw that broke the camel's back.
pretty much that. Yeah, that crossed the line.
Is he in jail over there, though?
No, he's not in jail.
He's just trapped in the country.
He's trapped there. So,
They threw him over to North Korea, right? Put him north of the
probably
border.
well, to keep the trend going, he has also had his ass kicked in South Korea because people have literally now made it a point to track him down.
Oh, so he's actually, wow.
He's on everybody's radar.
Yes.
Now, they've gone IRL on him.
Yes,
Exactly.
exactly.
Oh, yes, they really have.
I'm actually going to look this up because I want to see his butt getting kicked.
So,
And by the way, the gangs over there in South Korea don't want to mess with them either.
I've seen the movies.
Yeah, the Korean gangs are not
well,
good.
wasn't that Ryan Reynolds movie?
Oh, that's Deadpool. Wrong movie.
Anyway, so and he's stuck, as you said, in Korea.
So they won't
will
allow
not
him
let
out.
him leave.
they have taken his passport from him.
Good.
So, he is basically, he's waiting.
Can we do that to Ryan Paul?
He is currently awaiting trial for all his crimes and misdeeds, which he has filmed, and they're
That
just
wasn't me. It
Yeah.
was AI.
they are combing through all his
Okay.
his recordings now.
So far
Building
now,
a case.
in my POS story and now your POS story, what have we learned? If you're going to be a dumb beep, you
Don't film it.
Don't film it, you stupid idiots, because that's going to be used against you later on.
Well, it doesn't end there
There's
because there's no learning for him.
Apparently not.
So he knows he's being watched by police. He knows he has to go to court. So in the meantime, he thought, well, let's post videos claiming he's snuck into North Korea and praising Kim Jong-un along the way.
Oh my gosh.
So the good news is starting to flow because the police have now confiscated all his recording equipment. So he can't live stream anymore,
So
which
he's,
means,
IR out of it.
yeah, he can no longer make money.
Yes, right. The cash flow stops.
The cash flow has
He
stopped.
can't help pay for lawyers to get him out. He can't do anything.
And because they took away his passport, he has no work visa. So he actually
work?
he can't work. And originally his trial was supposed to be in December of 2024, and they thought, you know what? There's just too much evidence to comb through. We're going to postpone this until March of 2025.
Meanwhile, he's in a little tent over there, and
Yeah. So whatever money he has made since then, that's all he has to live off of.
I wonder if they've formally arrested him. I guess they have because charge. I mean,
Well,
if
he's
it's
been
like this
charged,
country.
but he's not in jail. He's still free.
And how old is this kid? Do we have any idea?
Oh, he's only 24.
He's 24. Mommy and Daddy.
Yeah.
Mom, Dad.
And by the way, that's actually a good question. Where the hell is mom and dad in all this? Did you not teach your kids the right way? Oh, you have more to drink, huh?
You know
Thanks for
what?
sharing.
I'm going to just say this about that. This all goes back to in the early 80s when home economics was taken out of high school. There you go.
You're right.
That's the whole thing,
I remember going through it myself.
right? You had to learn how to balance a checkbook. You had to, it was called How to Live.
Well, actually, I think home ec was in junior high, believe it or not. But a lot of high school, actually, as you got in the later grades, it was preparing you for how to do a resume, how to do job interviews, get you prepared for life. So
Correct.
it wasn't just
There's no preparing.
whether you
and
went to
with
college or
mom
not.
and dad working, how can they prepare you? How can you
Right.
pay attention and do it? Yes, it absolutely drives me nuts. But that is a different time and a different story.
But yes, but here's the problem. We now have idiots like this because he's not alone. I already mentioned Jack
we
Doherty.
have to wait for them all to die and wait for the next generation and
So
pray.
cleanse it all that hopefully the next generation. No, you're right.
I hate to tell you this.
But this is the generation. That is the generation within that time period because of the advent of YouTubes and social
Okay.
media and
All
all
right.
the
There you
other
go. There you
stuff.
go. There you
It's
go.
allowed them
There
the
you go.
opportunity to go out there with all this BS crap
That's
that they
right.
think that they're famous for.
Mhm.
And I'm like, where are you going to be when you're 35, dude?
And now think about this. Has it gotten better? No. And that means we've got another generation beyond the 24-year-olds Is it going to get any better or is it going to get worse?
Well, we're going to move on to a happy story.
Well, real fast.
Oh, there's more.
I just want to say, if convicted, he could face over 20 years.
This is in South Korea.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you think jails in the U.S. are bad. How would you like that?
Well, there's a reason why there's a low rate of arrest, because people don't commit the crimes because the jails probably suck.
Exactly. You don't want. I remember.
And they
actually,
have home economics in high school.
damn home economics. And that's what actually is the downfall of society. So we will now move to our happy story.
So we had...
But we don't have any more drinks.
We basically have had 45 minutes of pure shit.
No cussing.
You said earlier.
Well, that's a light cussing.
Are you
It's okay.
telling me is
We
not
don't-
as bad as...
Yeah. Okay. This
It's
is like the South Park episode. How many
It's the
times can we
10th.
say?
It's the 10th episode. We're allowed to let loose a little
No, listen.
Okay.
As producer, words may have been bleeped. And I'd like to
It's fine.
apologize for that.
Lucy was outside the window bleeping a lot of words. So.
She was going, me. Me.
That word also is not allowed. But then, anyways,
Oh,
anyhow,
boy, there's a sure lot of bleeping going on
let's
here.
turn to another cat story, which
Warm
is a
my
positive,
heart,
a positive
please.
cat story. I'm going to show you this picture. Oh my gosh,
I'm setting my glass down. Let me see the picture.
it's a cute little cat.
This is a beautiful picture, but this looks like a very, very cute cat going through some trauma.
So this cat is named Tiki.
Tiki?
Tiki
I like the name.
is blind.
Oh, no.
20 years old.
That
Whoa.
cat was 20.
20 years old.
That's
okay?
amazing, though.
You are going to find this even more amazing. So the cat got out of her house.
Yes.
So this is in, oh my God, I can't even see the name. Chelmsford, Massachusetts.
Okay. All
Are you
right.
familiar with that?
New
'Cause I know
England? License
Well,
plate
yes,
number?
New England,
No,
of
I'm
course.
kidding.
I know that. But yes, Chelmsford, Massachusetts, owned by a lovely lady by the name of Dawn.
108.
She's not 108.
I got this kitten when I was 88 years old.
So Dawn Felicani.
Okay. Sounds
Again,
Italian.
This podcast, I'm just going to forewarn you, will never get these names really well down because Tom and I suck at that.
It's all intentional.
So this incident happened near Nabonidset Lake.
Oh, wow. You're
Oh,
really
I
having a
know
hard
where
time.
that is.
Nabonidset?
Massachusetts, it's incredibly small, so everybody in Massachusetts knows
Yes,
where that
they're
lake
now
is.
currently yelling at the podcast going, "It's this name, you idiot."
And
Anyways.
it's upstate, I'm assuming.
And probably upstate, yes. So about 10 a.m., a real estate agent on her way to work spotted this cat, Tiki, walking on a thin, small piece of floating ice that was 30 to 50 feet from the lake shore.
So the cat.
So this
got
is
on
a picture.
piece of
You didn't see that
ice.
one.
Let me
This
see
is
this
the
one.
picture
Let me
of
get
her
it close.
walking
It
out
is
on the
nothing
ice.
but pure white. So that's obviously the ice.
Now remember, she's blind.
And I mean, I'm sure that she can feel the coldness
Oh,
on
sure,
those
I'm
cute
sure.
little cat pads of hers.
Yeah.
His.
So this happened actually in December of 2024. So not
Okay.
long ago it
Yeah.
happened. She's on this floating piece of ice in Massachusetts. Now, it gets a little more horrific before we get to the good part. So, spotted by this real estate agent who was on her way to work, she noticed that she was just circling and circling. She's blind, of course. She doesn't know where she is. You could see it wasn't completely frozen over, so I panicked, of course. Then I heard the crackling and was like, oh my God, he's going in.
If
It's
you go in the
wintertime.
morning in that area, if it's really cold, the ice will
Yeah.
kind of be maybe thick enough that you could walk out on it. Obviously,
And
it's
Tiki's
supporting the
not
weight of the
heavy.
cat. No, but as the morning progresses, the sun comes out.
Starts
if
to
you've been in
thaw
cold
it
weather
out,
state,
right.
well, you can hear the ice crack on those.
Oh, you can?
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Because
Is
you
it-
know this, because you
Oh, yes.
actually...
I've lived in cold weather states.
You grew up in Chicago, right?
Well, actually, I grew up in near Park City, Utah,
Oh.
and then when I worked my early part of radio in Idaho. I mean, we'd go to little ponds that they would just throw some water in and let it freeze, and we'd ice skate on ponds. But you can
Just
hear,
like in a Hallmark movie.
Oh, exactly. The ice was never as smooth as it is in a Hallmark.
I did that
movie.
on purpose for Tom because he loves those Hallmark movies.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen the Michael Gross Hallmark movie? Michael Gross, who used to be with Family Ties.
Wait,
I'll tell you the name
Michael
of
Gross?
Yeah.
Michael Gross or
Michael
Kirk
J.
Cameron?
Fox's dad on Family Ties.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait, he was in a Hallmark movie?
Probably.
It's been the most successful Hallmark movie of this season.
I want you to say Hallmark twice.
Hallmark. Hallmark. Anyway.
And so they're like, oh my God, he's going to go in. I mean, there was two people nearby who heard the commotion and immediately stepped in. Thank God they did. Okay. I mean, I'm telling you right now, I'm just thinking, I have a 20-year-old cat at home, Spot, who has a black and white, by the way, as well. Very similar to this cat.
It was very close to home.
Very close to home. Yes. Of course, we don't have any lakes that freeze over here in SoCal, but, what happened inevitably, what they thought was going to happen, happened. The cat went into the water. It broke through.
It did.
Yes. All they could see was just the little head sticking out of the water. Now, the clock is ticking because, Mark, you know this from growing up in freezing conditions area, the water is like below freezing, okay? You only have so much time. I don't care what living creature you are outside of a polar bear or a sea lion or whatever that's used to the freezing conditions, you only have so much time, right? And so they immediately jumped into action. One person grabbed a shovel and they got a small boat and they went out there. So one person with a shovel was trying to break the ice to get them out there faster. And the other person, were rowing to get out there.
I can't believe, looking at the second picture you showed me there, that cat was alone way out on the ice.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And to have a boat close or whatever that
Yes.
they could get to that cat, that's an incredible luck of chance there.
Thankfully, they got the cat plucked out of the water. Pretty much, they believe, probably not long before this cat could have succumbed to the freezing temperatures.
Right.
When they got the cat to a veterinarian, he was so cold that the temperature was so low that they couldn't even register it on a thermometer.
The body of the cat?
Yes, the body of the cat.
And of course, if you know anything about hypothermia, the heart gets really slow. And I mean, honestly, you can actually survive, but it's like...
But it was basically shutting slowly the cat's body down.
Yes,
okay?
yes. And already challenged at 20 years old.
I know, and blind.
Yeah.
I mean, this cat's like... close your eyes and just think that you're walking around, moving around and whatever. And then all of a sudden you drop into like freezing cold water and you don't know where you are and you don't know that anybody's going to come for you. I mean, this poor cat is just like, what the hell? Where am I? What am I doing? Where's my owner? Who's going to take care of me?
But they were able to get to the cat and get the cat out.
Yes. And so they were able to get the cat over to a veterinarian as soon as possible.
I saw that vet's sleeve.
So you saw it in the picture. You're right. You actually saw it. And so thankfully, they were able to nurse the cat back to health, and the cat is home and safe with his family.
Oh, and that lady that found it, that got this rescue going.
Yes. I mean, if that lady did not see that and question, like, why is there a cat out there on the ice? That's really what it boils down to. She wasn't too busy to go to work to like, that's not my concern. I'm just going to go ahead and go to work because I got to get to work because I have a meeting or whatever. She was like, why is there a cat out there on the ice? That doesn't seem right. And at least went to question. And thankfully, there was others that were right there who were like, we need to go do something. We need to go check. And then all of a sudden, the cat goes in the water. We got to act quickly.
Okay, and now do you want to hear the POS of this part of the story? What did the vet bill come to at the end of this? Who paid for that? No, you know
There
what?
was no mention of the vet bill, and
No.
hopefully the vet was actually nice. But
Honestly, I was blessed to have one cat in my life that lived to almost 23.
wow.
And that's very, very, very unusual.
Yes.
And
The oldest I've had is 21, so that's 23 is amazing.
Yeah.
And I have one right now that's 20.
so what a great story, though. And especially in the cold of winter, and a blind cat, that woman never would have been able to tell that the cat was blind, other than saying, well, it was walking in circles.
So there was
but
something
one
odd about
could
it.
Explain the circles because the cat was on a piece of ice that had drifted away from the rest of it.
And didn't know how to get back home, except that your Lucy, who has now left us, is probably, currently swimming in your pool right now trying to figure out how to get out.
And I think Lucy, shockingly, she turned 14 already.
Aww.
She looks kind of like a kitten, a very small cat, but she's 14.
She's very vocal, though.
By the way, it's called The Merry Gentleman, and it's on Netflix. So it was the #1 show of the season. This is actor Michael Gross, Instagram. I've known Michael for a number of years. Anyway.
I'm glad that you were willing to not give up on telling us at least that part of it.
I had to get back to it.
Yes.
Listen, there's nothing worse than saying something and having somebody go, he never said anything else. Right? I wanted to come full circle, just like we have with each one of these stories. It's gone
Hallmark
full
has
circle.
come up now a couple times, and I just, it makes
It wasn't
me...
Hallmark, though. I made that mistake.
Oh, it was not Hallmark.
I will have to live with that the rest of my life. It was actually Netflix. But I do believe that if that was a big thing for Michael on Netflix, and it was the #1 holiday streaming show of 2024, then he will be on Hallmark next year, giving Tom the joy of a lifetime.
I can only hope.
Now, you notice Tom didn't really talk much about in this story here because Tom hates cats.
You're not a cat man.
I don't hate them.
No, you do. It's okay. You can go ahead and admit it right now. Just
Hate
go ahead.
is very strong.
Very quickly, I think we should talk about this. Cats versus dogs. And our affection towards them. I understand why people would not be as attached or not like cats as much as dogs. Dogs definitely are bred for the affection and the tension, and they bond with a human that is
commitment to
unlike
humans.
anything else. But Tom, I would beg you during this.
Can you all hear my eyes roll?
Sounds like glass marbles hitting each other. Give a cat a chance.
Okay, so randomly this year, my wife did just blurt out, "Would you ever want to own a cat?"
I knew
can't
she
wait
was
for the
I
answer.
knew she was one of my kind.
It came out of because she's always been a cat person.
Yes.
So our dog is
Which
the
is
first
unusual.
dog she's ever had.
Women, dogs, men, cats.
Really? You say that? Because he's a huge dog fan. I'm a huge cat fan.
Well, I understand that, but
I mean, I love my dog at home, but
Oh, I guess I'm not a real man.
no, you're not. I've always told you that.
Yeah, but you said it, so it didn't really mean anything to me.
Wow, rude. Anyways,
no, but listen, I get it. I get it. But cats are differently affectionate during different times of their lives. But, it's no big deal if you don't like it.
Lucy's back.
It's you probably can't hear it, but we're looking out over the roof, and there's just a little kind of a gully right here, and she wants to come in the house badly.
Does she know how to get off the roof?
Yes, and the way she does it is I shake the treats, and she comes down on the pergola over in the backyard. And
so you're going to be able to get her down.
Yeah,
because I'm now worried at this point.
I'm
that she doesn't know
6'2",
how to
so
get
I
out.
can actually reach up there and grab her.
She's literally sitting outside the window, looking at us, going, "What the hell?
Here's
me
the
in."
other thing, Tom, as to why I might understand why you prefer dogs to cats. Lucy, she is affectionately known in this house for 14 years as the murderer. Yes. This girl, I've never seen, and I've had lots of cats over my life. This cat will go after squirrels.
Squirrels,
Squirrels the size of her. I told you this is a small cat. And I have found
She's a cunning killer.
on, it's not like a regular thing, but I had a neighbor, and she called me up, and she's got these two cute as can be little kids. And she said, "Lucy's in the backyard. Do you know, has she ever killed a squirrel?" And I thought, oh, no. Yeah, my kids right now are looking at a squirrel. squirrel lying out on the lawn.
Oh, no.
And I just thought, oh, Lucy the murderer.
She is literally out there just meowing up a storm,
right?
just like,
Doesn't look threatening.
no.
I let her in here. She'll go for your throat.
Okay.
You know what?
Good to
I'm going
know.
to encourage your wife, Tom, to get a cat. That's a good job.
Well, I told her I'm not objecting to owning a cat.
Don't ask me to like it.
Oh my
But no.
gosh. You know,
There are
and you know,
certain
and you know what will
breeds.
happen? You know what will happen? People like Tom, who quote unquote, yeah, I don't really like cats or whatever. That cat's going to become his buddy, and he's going to be like, oh,
And it only takes
I
one.
guess.
That's what happened with my
Yes.
wife with dogs.
I'm
all I had to
telling
do
you.
was
I'm telling
introduce
you
it.
right now, Mister.
I told her I'm not opposed to the idea. There are just certain breeds that kind of like really I'm drawn to.
Breeds of cats?
Yes.
Which one?
That if she were to bring one, just hands down, okay, it's mine. A Scottish Fold.
I've never heard of it.
Okay, you've
Alley cat.
seen
That's my variety.
You've seen them though. It's a little furry ball where its ears are folded down.
Oh,
I've
I've
seen
seen
yes,
those.
yes, yes.
You've all seen
Okay,
them.
but here's the deal. I'm going to
And there's just something about them, or just
I
like
understand that, but I'm going to tell you right now, my friend, who doesn't want to really lift a finger for a cat, do not get an overly furry one because you do have to maintain their fur.
Oh, I love just sitting with the brush and giving the. I love grooming my dog.
You do, but this one
no,
here.
no. There was another breed of cat that I would have said, okay, yeah,
not
bring
the
him in.
furless kind, not
It-
the
no,
Dr.
oh,
Evil kind.
No.
Dr. Evil.
For some reason,
The
yeah.
hairless.
I'm sorry if you enjoy those cats, but my
those are
God,
just creepy.
gross.
Yeah.
It was some kind of cat. It was a lot of fur. I can't remember the
Lynx? A lynx cat is cool.
Maybe it was
They're
a
really
lynx.
cool.
But I'm okay with fur. Like my dog dumps so much fur, I can make more
Your
dogs
dog-
with
What
it.
breed of dog do you
oh
have?
my gosh, this
What
dog.
breed of dog?
This dog is literally a walking carpet.
Yeah, it's a mix.
I
he's,
love
And he is the nicest, like most friendliest. Like
Oh
if
my
a
God,
burglar breaks into their house, he's gonna be like, take me out for a walk.
Yeah.
Well, I do like the yappers, and
There
it's
you
a
go.
bigger one. Let me see. That is, he is
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Okay, describe because nobody can see it.
Okay, well, first of all, and what's the mix?
So he's a Australian Shepherd mixed with a American Staffordshire.
So it's a black and white
Staffordshire.
dog. What's really fascinating about him is that he has got on his front paws, which are white. It looks like maybe it's the tips of the toes on the rear paws are white, but halfway up the arm on the front is just white, but freckled with dark fur. And this is a dog that only has one eye. No, I'm kidding you.
No.
I was like,
He's got
what are
he
you
pretty
looking
much has
at?
two.
well, he's got a blue eye and a brown
Yeah.
eye,
Yep.
and on the brown side, that's the dark of his fur. So when you look
he
at
likes
this picture,
he likes to throw his butt towards you, so you'll scratch his back.
Oh, he loves the butt scratches.
Tom, he looks incredibly happy. So that just
Oh, he's
tells
a
me
happy
that you're the kind of dog owner that if I was
Oh,
a dog,
no.
I'd say
He
I'll
is
live with
spoiled.
Tom.
So
Well, very very recently, we had a incident with him where we had to take him to the emergency room, and they said he had cancer and he had a tumor that had burst.
What area of his abdomen, chest, where?
Yeah, it was on his abdomen. He had a tumor, and they said, okay, you have two options. One, the unthinkable.
Give me all your money.
Two was, yeah, we'll take all your money and we can do surgery. And I didn't even hesitate. I said, just take all my money. I don't care. Because they're like, well, he's an old dog, though. I'm like, I don't effing care. This is my boy. And they were
You can't make that decision. That's
Yeah.
I cannot make that
and
decision.
Tom makes millions because he has an IRL himself, and so he.
Yeah,
He's
although I'm
insulting cat owners.
yeah, although I am wanted in about 6 countries, so
Damn IRL cat owner hater.
yeah. Basically, long story short was he didn't qualify the surgery. We took him home, and we've been giving him medication thinking that we only had like a month left with him. But our vet, who's super awesome, recommended a medication that's like mushroom based.
I take medication like that every day. Go ahead.
Called it immunity. So we've been giving him 3 kinds of medication a day, and he's still going strong. In fact,
this is how many months
See,
later?
this is now.
his mushrooms make him feel better. Your mushrooms take you to a different.
Sometime that's where you do feel better, is when I get to the alternate universe.
Honestly, I'm thinking about taking my dog's medication because it's turning back the clock on him.
So how many months has this been since the
This has
diagnosis?
been
Probably 4 or 6 months, right?
I think 5 months now.
Yeah.
And he's better than he was
Wow.
earlier
That's
this
so good
year.
to
You just got a compliment from the groomers.
And what was the tumor? Do you know? Was it a cancerous tumor, non-cancerous?
Well, we don't know because that was going to
ruptured?
be part of the surgery.
Oh, it ruptured. That's right.
They were
So
going to do surgery to see if it was cancerous or not, and they were going to see like, oh, you could do chemo.
Right.
Oh, God bless him. Every day you have with him.
Oh, trust me, we
cherish.
have been.
Cherish, yeah.
I do. I mean, 17 for a dog.
I mean,
Yeah.
look, Tom and I both have, similar in the sense of age, but different scenarios. I have an 18-year-old dog and I have a 20-year-old cat. So my entire household is senior citizens.
I get it. Right.
And so I have to literally look at all of them wondering, are you breathing?
And for me, it's more the grief after.
Oh, 100%.
They go, and I need to keep them 5 years apart from.
Oh, yeah.
I got to
We
plan
had
this
a Basset
out. I need to
Hound.
plan my grief.
Yeah, we had a Basset Hound that unfortunately on her 5th birthday, we had to put her down because she had an aggressive form of cancer. Come to find out, we learned this from the vet, so this is good for everyone to know out there, is the cleaning solution that Swiffer has?
Yeah.
Do not use that because
On your floor.
because when the animal is on the floor and then now it's on their paws and now they're cleaning themselves, they're ingesting it basically through their system. And it basically gave her cancer, and it was an aggressive form that literally within 2 weeks she went down.
Please listen to me. Like you just heard TC educate you. Listen to me. Vinegar and water.
Yeah.
Mostly just water. It's amazing. Water actually cleans up stuff on tile,
Yeah.
on wood. You don't need anything.
But even vinegar does, and vinegar's safe.
Yeah, but when you think about what we are exposed to ourselves, just open your refrigerator, plastics, those forever chemicals and stuff that are sitting on the food, you can't do anything about now. But the point is, for your animals,
Yeah.
in the products that you're taking care of, a wood or a tile floor, and think about it, they do walk around and they do clean their paws. You like a clean animal, they're cleaning themselves.
I mean,
they're paying
I've stopped
attention.
using Clorox bleach to clean my face.
Well, I'm glad for that. But it sure did get rid of the acne scars, didn't it?
It burned the rest of my face off. But
The muriatic acid. It was a natural thing, but
I had a cat. He was actually my buddy, Blackjack. He was literally my buddy and just ripped my heart out when I lost him 2 years ago. But he had this weird fascination that whenever I had to clean up something with the Clorox bleach on the floor or whatever, he loved the smell of bleach. And I'm like, Blackjack, get off of there. Get away from there. But he just loved it. I had to literally shoo him out of a room if I had to use it.
this is a completely different podcast now, because when I think about the things that I love smelling and tasting and the experiences that I've had as a small child, I used to love to lick the tops of cleanser cans. I would love the flavor of
Mark, and you're
of
still
cleanser.
here today to tell us about it?
I don't know for how much longer I will be here. But
my
it's just weird. The weird things that.
What did you
that
put in
people-
this lemon drop?
Uh,
Which, by the way, we're completely out. So next time you have to make more.
Now, let me just say this. You guys, congratulations on our
Thank
first
you.
season, 10
Thank you.
podcasts complete of POS, and we hope that you come back for next season. Tell your friends about this. The podcasting is a strange beast because it's hard to make an imprint out there when there are so many things to choose from. So please, if you can, tell your friends about POS and have them sign up and follow. And, the more streams that we get that people seem to enjoy this, the better the chance that this thing will go on for another 9 episodes where we can really celebrate that 100th episode, which I can't even imagine what that's going to be like. but we will probably not be in this studio at that point. We'll be in the money studio.
We won't have Lucy outside
We won't
the window.
have cats coming by, airplanes, helicopters,
Yes.
so
No
on and
deal.
so forth.
I thank you for that, Mark, and with your help and your pushing us along and your keeping us on the right path. I appreciate it. And we are already talking about season 2, which may or may not involve, cameras. We'll see. But
Let's try to stay away from 31 stab wounds. Can we, maybe just balance that just a little bit?
we'll try. But we are going to
No
continue
promises.
to search.
TC's
and
very
see.
attracted to that, and I'm a little concerned about it because I invite him into my home sometimes when I'm alone, and I hear noises downstairs, and I can't explain them.
If I see the electricity go off in here, Tom and I are out that window. We're not even going to go down your stairs. We're going to go out the window. But unlike Robin, that is definitely attached to the TV show Snapped, we try to not always include stories about murders.
It just so happens that a lot of people who suck
Who suck.
commit
Happen to
murders.
do those things that suck.
Yeah.
And we're
But we-
trying to control the suck, but we
Yeah.
just can't control the suck.
But we're happy, though, when we can highlight the positive stories, like our beautiful
yes.
tiki cat that was found before she lost her life and is back home with, his family and can live out the remaining cat years, with the family. Well, thank you, Cart. Thank you, Cart. What the hell was I? You said that it was going to happen a few minutes later or whatever, 20 minutes later. But no, thank you, Mark, for joining us. And we will be back sooner than later with season 2. We're excited. And we'll probably, if this goes over well, we'll probably continue the episode 10 of having a guest.
So, yeah, honestly, we kind of need the feedback, though. Did this work out? Was this better or worse than previous episodes? I mean, should we drink more? Should we drink less?
We don't need to be drunk in
Please
history.
say more.
We don't need to be drunk in history. Although I will say, Mark, a little more drinks for the next one. A little more drink.
Well, you know what? It means season 2, first episode, should start with another celebratory.
I mean,
I'm not opposed to that.
Tom and I look at each other like, well, what do you think? Yeah, why
Hey.
not? So
Season 2, clink.
for now, though, we appreciate and we thank all of you for checking out all 10 episodes of season 1. And we are excited about the prospect of what we can bring you in the future. And I'm sure that we're going to adjust and, try new things and keep it fresh and exciting, right?
And honestly, if you have a story that you think should be on our radar, share it.
Thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of your busy day. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe for more stories.
And as always, be good humans for F's sake.